Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're giving you our Week 14 fantasy football waiver wire pickups. We're here to help you make all the right decisions on who you should target this week on the waivers and who to avoid. Let's start this fantasy football podcast right meow.
Hit that drop. Hey everyone, I am Justin, that is Kyle, and this is the Fantasy Football Upside. Thanks for dropping by our Fantasy Football podcast and YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Kyle, got a question for you.
What's that?
Do you know what time it is?
It's recording time.
It is playoff time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Sandbagging son of a... If you've been listening to us, you made it here, the playoffs, and now we're going to help you win that
championship.
And with that, today we are giving you our top waiver wire ads for Week 14. Kyle, what you got before we hit right into it?
All right, guys, hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so you're notified every time we upload the podcast. If you've hung with us this year, we're hoping that we were able to help you get to that playoff berth, and then you can maybe get into the championship. We did actually get somebody who finally figured out what the what that drop is that we have. I'm looking for the name right here. It's Gary Scandal, actually. He figured it out. Yeah. Go Gary, right? But what we're always saying is that if you need help figuring out who to sit or start, feel free to drop the comment below because we're always asking. Do you need assistance? That's right. It's from Super Troopers. If you didn't catch that, it's from Super Troopers, guys. There's a bear. There's a guy. All I know is it's illegal. So yeah, way to go, Gary. You got it. So let us know your start sit questions for Week 14. We'll give you a hand. Maybe we can help you out with waiver wire stuff based on the fact that the week, the schedule is off on Week 13 ending. Then maybe some of your waiver wire questions can still be answered before too long here. So let's dive in head first into the shallow end. We're going to give you our top picks for top pickups from the waiver wire for Week 14. Start off with running back, Justin. What do you have as your top running back pickup?
I got the old man, and not Frank Gore. It's the other old man. It's Adrian Peterson.
Me?
Yes. No, someone good. I mean, I know you're fast at one point, but still fast now. Adrian Peterson, 48% rostered. We kind of jokingly mentioned last week that Adrian Peterson mentioned how DeAndre Swift wasn't normal after his concussion. He didn't have his step, his pep, or his energy. And, DeAndre Swift was ruled out for Sunday's game for illness, so maybe he was correct. And, hey, AP, whenever he got the ball, he looked pretty good last week. And without Captain Caveman, he had 16 carries, 57 yards, and 2 tutties. He looked okay. He had the goal line carries, Kyle.
Who are they playing? Yeah.
You tell me.
They were playing the Bears.
The Bears defense is still okay. That's the only
No, they gave up.
They gave up.
They gave
Chad
up.
Nagy, yeah. I don't know how he still has a job.
Chad Nagy?
Nagy.
Matt Nagy. he's kind of a Chad, probably.
He does look like a Chad.
Yeah.
Chad Nagy, I think he's a BMX freestyle rider.
Oh,
all right,
okay.
moving on.
Yeah.
Well, Adrian Peterson's getting the goal line carries. Lions looked a little bit better. We've mentioned that how if a coach gets fired that the team hates, hey, they usually play pretty well. Next 2 weeks are pretty good for Adrian with favorable matchups against Green Bay and Tennessee. So that's my running back. Who do you have at running back waiver wire?
I have, Ty Johnson with the Jets.
I thought of it.
Yeah.
Former Lions glory.
Yeah.
Ty Johnson.
Yeah. All right. So here's why. Look, I get it. It's the Jets. They're the world. That's right. But he accounted for 22 carries after Gore exited the game, right? All these people went out and picked up Gore, and he had like 1 carry and then got hurt.
He got hurt. Yeah.
So you got to keep an eye on Gore's availability. But he did leave with a concussion, so he's got to enter the concussion protocol. That's a couple days to account for before he's able to get back. But you should get news before the time that the Jets actually end up playing. And so if he's not able to go, Ty Johnson's actually not a terrible play. This is not a great matchup, but it isn't terrible, right? So he doesn't have the greatest schedule going forward, but this is a worthwhile pickup for the playoffs. Seattle in week 14 has been allowing the 9th most fantasy points to the running back position. 22 carries, guys, right? I agree. You shouldn't roster New York Jets running backs. You shouldn't roster much of New York Jets at all. But 22 carries, you can't ignore that.
Nope.
That kind of volume, you just can't ignore. I mean, look at James Robinson, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrible team. It's a good running back with a lot of volume, gets all the carries. Well, guess what? That's the same thing with Ty Johnson. And if you're in dire straits, I think you could make a huge move to help shore up an issue on your team.
That's fantasy football relevance right there.
Yeah.
Volume is king.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on here to wide receiver. What do you have at wide receiver? This is a throwback, right?
Yeah, well, this is the number one name in the NFL, in my opinion. It's Keke Coutee, 27% rostered. Yes, this was a repeat from last week whenever you said that one. And Kyle was right, everybody.
Yep.
You might want to write that one down when I say Kyle was right.
Write that down.
I'm just kidding you. 9 targets, 8 catches, 141 yards, no touchdowns, but, man, he looked good. Deshaun was looking for him deep. He was kind of filling in for that Will Fuller because, yes, Will Fuller's out for the rest of the season. Randall Cobb is most likely out the rest of the season. I think he is out with the toe injury.
IR.
Yeah. Kenny Stills was released.
He's out for the rest of the fantasy season is what it is, more than that.
Yeah, Kenny Stills. Perfect timing to go ahead and release him, and then all of a sudden Will Fuller suspended, Randall Cobb. I mean, granted, Stills hadn't done much, but I mean, for Keke Coutee, man, just as long as his hammies kind of hold together, I mean, that's what's been plaguing him for his early career. He's only 23 years old, but always seemed like he was in the doghouse this year whenever Billy O'Brien was still the coach, but Billy OB's not there. He's got availability. Coutee looked good, man. Add him to your roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, well, and Cooks should presumably be fine to go, and they were still splitting time on the field. It's not like
he got knocked out for just
they
a
weren't
little bit of the game.
cannibalizing each other at all. So
no.
Yeah.
I mean, Cooks returned. That was scary, of course, because of his concussion history, but it looked like he was fine. But yeah, moving forward, 2 wide receivers out there.
All right. So I've been saying it for a while, haven't I?
You have.
What did I say? I said the minute that they stopped having terrible weather, this dude was going to pop, and he did. Rashard Higgins, 8% rostered right now. He finally had a good weather game, right? It's Cleveland. So, like good weather in Cleveland is. He went 6 for 9, had 95 yards and a touchdown, finished as wide receiver 9 overall. Look, the schedule isn't the greatest, but it isn't terrible either. So you're going to want to avoid him in week 14. So if you've got the bye, this is a perfect ad, actually. He faces Baltimore in week 14, but then you get the Giants in week 15 and you get the Jets in week 16. That's right. The Jets, they are in the secondary. The worst. They give it up back there. They stop the running back, but they give it up on the back end. And I don't know if you noticed, but yeah, it is.
If you have to ask, big man, you can't avoid it.
Hey, man, I like somebody was saying something on Twitter, like, who started Baker? No lying, show receipts. I started Baker. I am backing my way, and I'm backing. Well, dude, I had Dak. I had so I lost Dak early in the year. Then I lost.
You had Fitzpatrick.
I had
for
Fitzpatrick.
A while, then he got benched.
I lost him. Then he got benched. Then he came back, and I put him in, and he blew up. And then I lost him again. I think I've lost 3 or 4 starting QBs, and so I'm down to Baker Mayfield
in a 2 QB league.
That Trubisky. Yeah.
You did it.
Oh, no. I have Alex Smith too, but I have to start Mitch Trubisky over Alex Smith. That was just to get guys who actually see the field. Like, that's what I've had to do. So, but Rashard Higgins is the beneficiary, big time beneficiary. All these guys were, and I've said it for a while that he's going to capitalize. So the trick here is you go ahead and you pay for him, you get him, you put him on your team, and then week 14 gets passed and you're still alive and it's week 15. Yep. Do you have the guts to actually throw him into your lineup? That's the question. Do you have the guts to do it? I don't know. There are moments where I've been like, I mean, I've started I've started players over Mike Evans this year. I've
Yeah.
actually pulled him out of my lineup at points. So I think that you got to have the guts, but I think that it's going to pay off. This is one of those moves where if he had a little bit more history on the course of the season, I think more people would be more comfortable doing that. But he's capitalized in really good situations as long as the weather is okay. But the Jets stopped the run, so the passing game is actually going to be a good one in week 16 for you. The Giants are deceivingly better on defense than people think. That offense is so inept that they put that defense at its worst points very regularly. They turn it over. So week 15, I'm a little suspect on, but I think that he's a solid ad because of the volume alone. 9 targets. It's the same thing he's been getting for a little while.
Yep.
All right, let's move on here to tight end.
Another fun name, Anthony Firkser, Tennessee Titans, 9% rostered. He filled in for an injured Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith was out with a knee, Kyle, just the knee. But and that was actually after putting up a goose egg, Jonnu Smith did in week 12. So he didn't practice at all going up into week 13. That does not bode well for his availability this week. So definitely keep an eye on that. But Firkser, he had 7 targets, 5 catches, 51 yards, which is, hey, not bad for tight end this year.
No.
And he's got some good matchups. He's got Jacksonville and Detroit next up for the Titans and Firkser. So he should be in line for a decent workload as long as Jonnu Smith is out. Even if he is back, I feel like he's been hit or he's been on the injury list quite a few times, Jonnu Smith, but I think with the same knee injury. So it might not be 100% for him anyways.
I think he's a great pickup for PPR. I think that's a really good fill in. And if you're in a multi-flex league, we're talking like 3 flex, then he should be involved whether he's in PPR league or not. So I think that's a great idea there. I'm going to go to, I'm just hitting like the low hanging fruit this week, right? This is all the guys that I shouldn't be saying, except for Rashard Higgins. Cole Kmet going to Chicago. Yeah. And look, his targets have been going up. He's only 1% rostered right now, right? Uno percent. That's right. So his targets have been going up, and Graham's have been going down. And so over the last 3 weeks, he's actually had 13 targets. He went 3, 3, and 7. In the most recent game, he had the 7. And as long as Trubisky's the starter, I think that Kmet actually has decent value. Yeah, I know. I agree with that sentiment. Exactly. Tight end should be a focus of this offense, or at least of Trubisky's read-throughs. I think that Nick Foles doesn't get through his progressions fast enough. So he's stuck on read 2 when he's getting hit, as opposed to going 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's nothing. Here's my tight end. Here's my outlet. And he doesn't get there fast enough. Whereas Trubisky, at least he's got it flipped. He's reading defenses from the bottom, or he's reading his route tree from the bottom up instead of the other way, which if you know anything about Nagy, that's actually the way that they run it, is from the top down. So they read the longest route first.
I obviously don't know anything about Nagy. I called him Chad.
Be that guy.
That's right. All right. So anyway, the playoff schedule, this is where it gets interesting a little bit, I think, here. Okay. So you've got Houston, Minnesota, and Jacksonville going in weeks 14, 15, and 16. We're not going to talk about week 17 until week 17 because you're not in a week 17 championship league, guys. You're not doing that. And so Houston's 14th right now against the tight end as far as fantasy points allowed. Minnesota's then 17th. But what you get in the championship week is Jacksonville, and they're allowing the 6th most fantasy points to the tight end. So that is a good dart throw in week 16. And I think it's a decent one in the other weeks because his target volume is up right now. And I think it's going to stay that way for a little while. I mean, they've kind of shied away from Mooney. They've shied away from what's his name? Who's the wide receiver 2? I can't think of his name. You got Allen Robinson and then
Anthony Miller.
Anthony Miller. Miller, I think he's got a bum leg or something too. He's been injured in and out of the lineup.
In and out, yeah.
But he's kind of lost favor with Nagy, I think, actually. So I think that the tight end is getting pushed up the progression a little bit. And I think that's how they're going to continue to do things. It's obviously been working for them this far, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was it 6 in a row that they've lost?
I think so.
All right. So let's move on to QB here. Who do you have as the QB pickup of the week for you?
Second favorite, Ginger, Andy, Red Rifle, Dalton, 13% rostered. So we are recording this before the Cowboys play the Ravens. So hopefully he doesn't get hurt. And you're like, oh, why did you recommend Andy Dalton? Or, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
But
this is going to be posted before then. Even this is going to be published before then.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm my eyes are onto the future, Kyle.
Yeah.
But we got a favorable matchup for Week 14. That's against the Bengals. The Bengals, his former team, so maybe a little extra motivation for the Red Rifle. But tough week for 15. Well, I say that as we're recording, we're watching the Buffalo Bills just destroy the 49ers defense right now. So maybe it's not going to be a tough week for Week 15 against the Niners. But once again, they're going to have a favorable matchup for Week 16. The Eagles actually give up a good amount of points for the quarterback. And hey, Andy Dalton's throwing it about 35 plus times. We said that about Mike McCarthy. He loves to throw it. So that's a possibility to put up some good numbers. So you have the weapons still. You got Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. He was drafted while that guy was back there somewhere. Michael Gallup and Dalton Schultz are the receiving options. No, I did not mention the other guy that's in the backfield. Running back is we don't think he's
not an option of any kind right now.
He's not.
We warned you guys. We warned you. We said that his production would go down. We said that Mike McCarthy will not favor the running back. It's all that. So
yeah, you got blasted a little bit on Twitter, and now I'm surprised you're not pointing yet. Maybe after the season.
Maybe, but I don't need other people to necessarily say, yeah, go at them.
See,
instead I'll just be like,
I need that.
But at the same time that, I don't feel like, I need that validation. I don't feel like it's 100% just Zeke falling off the cliff, right? I think that also if he had Dak a full season, then you could say, okay, yeah, you're absolutely right. The production went down and it has nothing to do with losing Dak. But other people, if I say anything, just be like, yeah, well, he lost his quarterback. And just say, which means that they just featured him all the time and he still did terribly,
Yep.
But that's not going to get anywhere. Just agree to disagree. All right. So my quarterback, I was surprised to see the top 3 quarterbacks for the week in our league are all under 60% rostered, actually. 2 of them were not available in our league. One of them is. But this one's not available in our league, and that's Matthew Stafford. He's 55% rostered. Eddie P is gone, and they immediately produced on offense the way that they should have all season long. And if you aren't aware of who Eddie P is, that is Matt Patricia's Twitter handle that he thinks is hiding the fact that it's Matt Patricia. They're still saddled with a terrible defense that was built by Patricia. This is a good thing, though, because that means that they're probably going to be playing from behind a whole lot.
Yep.
And as a result, they're going to throw the ball a whole heck of a lot. 42 attempts in each of the last 2 weeks by Stafford. He's had 3 touchdowns this week and 1 touchdown the week before. And guess who might be back? It's Galladay. He could be back for week 14. It's a possibility. Keep your eyes out for that. And if that happens, I can only see Stafford's numbers actually improving from where they were.
Yeah.
And so that should be pretty good. Then you look at the playoff schedule and you go, wow, you got Green Bay in week 14. Week 14 is pretty tough if you aren't already set, guys. Tennessee and then Tampa Bay. And so week 15 is your key spot here for Stafford to be able to play him really, because Tennessee is allowing the 5th most points to the QB this year in fantasy. Green Bay is 23rd and Tampa Bay is 19th. So those are at best middle of the road. You're just hoping to get kind of lucky there with touchdown upside or something like that. And maybe Galladay being back would be a good opportunity there. If you already have Galladay on your team and Galladay's coming back or something, then I would say take the chance, stack them and run with it, because that kind of move could run you all the way to the championship and get you that title. It's entirely possible. So, all right, guys, that's going to do it for our week 14 waiver wire pickups. Make sure you drop your comments down below and give us your questions so we can answer some waiver questions for your specific situation, maybe. Make sure you also hit that subscribe button as well as the bell so that you can listen to us through the rest of the playoffs, get you that championship, and then actually listen to us in the offseason too. We're still around here during the whole offseason, so feel free to subscribe and listen. We'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks for being fans of the Upside. Bye.
See ya.